You're about to discover that nearly every part of your airport experience, from the moment you book your ticket to the second you board the plane, has been carefully engineered to separate you from your money. And the tricks airlines and airports use are so subtle, so deeply woven into the experience, that you've probably never even noticed them. Let's start with the price you paid for your ticket. That fare you saw advertised, maybe $89 to Miami, looked like a steal. But here's the thing. That number is essentially bait. By the time you've paid to check a bag, select a seat next to your partner, and board early enough to find overhead bin space, you're staring at $200 or more. And if you booked the cheapest option available, what airlines now formally call basic economy, you've already signed away most of the rights a regular ticket used to include. Airlines figured out this playbook back in 2008 when the financial crisis nearly wiped them out. The industry lost $26 billion that year, and jet fuel hit $147 a barrel. So carriers started stripping everything out of the base fare and charging for it separately. What began as a survival strategy became the most profitable trick in aviation history. Today, global ancillary revenue, that's the industry term for all those fees, has hit $148 billion a year, according to IdeaWorks Company and IATA, the International Air Transport Association. That's not a typo. And it grew 26% in just 1 year. Frontier Airlines now earns 62% of its total revenue from fees alone. Spirit sits right behind at nearly 59%. More than half of what these airlines earn comes not from flying you somewhere, but from charging you for everything that goes with it. And it gets wilder. You might assume airlines make their money from, airline stuff, flying planes, selling tickets, but you'd be wrong. A groundbreaking analysis showed that Delta, American, and other major carriers would actually be unprofitable without their credit card loyalty programs. Delta made $7.4 billion from its American Express partnership in 2024. That's more than the airline's entire operating profit from flights. American pulled in $6.1 billion from its card deals. United collected nearly $3 billion from JP Morgan Chase. The profit margin on loyalty program revenue is around 50%. In an industry where high single-digit margins are considered a home run, that's staggering. You're not the passenger anymore. You're the product being sold to a bank. Now let's talk about what happens once you arrive at the airport, because this is where the physical manipulation begins. You know that winding path you walk after getting through TSA security? It's not random. Airports deliberately curve walkways to the left. Why? Because most people carry luggage in their right hand, which naturally pulls you into a counterclockwise walking pattern. A left curving path aligns with that instinct, keeping you comfortable and moving smoothly. But here's the real purpose. That curve exposes merchandise on your right side, which is the direction your eyes naturally drift toward. And by curving the path, airports make it longer, keeping you in the retail zone for more time. You're being guided through a shopping mall disguised as a terminal, and your own body mechanics are being used against you. Then there's the golden hour. That's what the industry calls the window between clearing TSA security and boarding your flight. Airports have figured out that your emotional state during this window directly controls your spending. If you're stressed and anxious from a long security line, you clamp your wallet shut. One study found that for every 10 minutes you spend waiting in the security line, you spend 30% less on retail. But if you're relaxed and happy, you open up. Research shows that delighted passengers spend 45% more than disappointed ones, averaging about $20.55 compared to just $14. Happy passengers spend 7% more on regular retail and 10% more on duty-free. So airports invest heavily in making post-security life pleasant. Automated kiosks speed up check-in. Security lines get streamlined. And once you're through, you're met with open spaces, natural light, and an inviting retail environment. As one airport design director put it, a happier person is going to spend more money than someone who is miserable and anxious. Even the bathrooms are part of the strategy. The first restroom after security is often intentionally crowded because airports know you'll rush to it. That congestion nudges other passengers to walk further into the terminal, right past more shops and restaurants, to find the quieter, cleaner facilities hidden deeper inside. Now here's a trick that might genuinely upset you. You know that panic you feel when you board and the overhead bins are filling up? That anxiety about finding space for your carry-on? It's manufactured. Airlines could solve overhead bin congestion easily. They could offer free checked bags, charge for carry-ons instead, or simply install more bin space in their Boeing and Airbus aircraft. But they don't. Because that fear of running out of room is exactly what makes you pay for priority boarding. It's manufactured scarcity anxiety, and it works beautifully. And about those seats you're squeezing into, your seat has been shrinking for decades. In the 1990s, the minimum seat pitch among major US airlines was 31 to 32 inches. Today, it's dropped to as low as 28 inches on budget carriers. That's a loss of up to 4 inches of legroom compared to what passengers flew with 30 years ago. Seat width has also shrunk by as much as 4 inches over that same period. According to Flyers' Rights, only 25% of airline passengers can now reasonably fit in their seats. Bill McGee from the American Economic Liberties Project put it bluntly: tighter seats are uncomfortable, a financial ripoff, and a health threat due to blood clotting issues. But worst of all, they present a danger to safe evacuations. The FAA received over 26,000 complaints about shrinking seats in 2022 alone. And while Congress directed the agency to set minimum seat sizes, the FAA's own study concluded that smaller seats don't impede evacuations. Critics argue that study used outdated testing methods that don't reflect what a real cabin evacuation looks like today. Let's talk about overbooking. You probably remember Dr. David Dow, the passenger dragged off a United Express flight in April 2017. He suffered a concussion, 2 broken teeth, and a broken nose. That incident pulled back the curtain on a practice most passengers didn't even know existed. Airlines deliberately sell more tickets than there are seats, betting that some passengers won't show up. In 2024, roughly 352,000 passengers were bumped from US flights. Airlines earned an estimated $3 billion from overbooking in 2023. You're essentially paying for a seat that the airline has also sold to someone else. And about duty-free shopping. You might think you're getting a deal, but for most products, prices aren't much different from what you'd find online at home. The real savings are limited to tobacco and alcohol, which carry heavy domestic taxes. Everything else? You're often paying a premium for the convenience of buying it in an airport. Here's what ties all of this together. In April 2024, the Department of Transportation passed a rule requiring airlines to show all fees up front before you buy. The airlines sued. A federal appeals court put the rule on hold, where it remains today. The industry's lobbying group actually argued that disclosing charges clearly would cause, and this is a direct quote, confusion and frustration for passengers. Think about that. They're saying that showing you what you're actually paying would be too confusing. Southwest Airlines, the last holdout that offered 2 free checked bags for decades, finally broke in May 2025, introducing bag fees of $35 for the first checked bag. By January 2026, they'd launched assigned seating, expecting to pull in $1.5 billion annually from seat selection fees alone. The fee-free era is officially dead. So the next time you're walking through an airport, glancing at shops on your right, feeling relaxed after a smooth TSA security experience, scrambling for overhead bin space, and paying $35 to check a bag, just know that none of it is accidental. Every single moment has been designed, tested, and optimized to get into your wallet. The question isn't whether you've fallen for these tricks. You have. The question is what you'll do about it now that you can see them.